The 200-pound Messi, football's unstoppable hybrid superstar. Episode 1. His newbie package is peak Messi template. So what else to say, it must be the road to professional football and become a world-class superstar. Although he only had a 30% fit when he first got the Messi template, and he couldn't get all the true biography of Messi, at his age, it was still enough to kill all sides. He used to have high hopes that he would soon get ahead. But the development of events was somewhat unexpected. In a few years, his template fit didn't grow much, stuck at the 44% threshold. Because he is too tall and strong, his center of gravity is high and his movement frequency is slower. Coupled with the slow growth of technology, the breakthrough ability that was previously proud has dropped a lot, which is very hurtful. Many of his peers who were not as good as him have become stars, but he has not grown much. The team had to let him change his style of play, from winger to center. But he doesn't like to play as a center forward, doesn't like to scramble for headers, and doesn't like to fight with those rough and hard central defenders. Those athletes who like to use the head ball, the top ball is so that the brain is scattered, and the brain is a mess after retirement. Huaxia players often have amazing performances at a younger age due to reasons such as changing their age, but as they get older, their advantages in all aspects will be lost. And Lu Junfeng seems to fit this growth trajectory. But he didn't like the rough play of those teams' long passes, and he didn't like to be used by the center to fight for headers every day, so he didn't go. Some time ago, when he turned 19, he was favored by the Premier League powerhouse Arsenal and was willing to offer him a youth team contract. Lu Junfeng came to England at the age of 12 and belongs to the English Youth Academy player, so there is no need to worry about labor certification. It's something he can't refuse. Who wouldn't want to play in the highest league? Arsenal is one of the best clubs at developing young stars. In order to become a star, head the ball, as long as the team needs, he can practice any technique. It's a consistent tradition at Arsenal, who like to pass the ball into the goal and break through dense defenses. Their first team was even ridiculed as just rubbing around the goal, just not shooting. Reserve team coach Neil Banfield saw that there was really no way, so he could only send Lu Junfeng, a 1'9" big center, on the field to see if he could score one with a header. When Lu Junfeng replaced his teammates on the field, the coach also told the players on the field to pass more to Lu Junfeng. The teammate followed the coach's instructions and kicked the ball towards Lu Junfeng with a long pass. "Hey, the ball is coming, look at me, a chest stop, heck, stop the face." The ball bounced into Lu Junfeng's face and bounced forward. But it doesn't matter, everything is under Lu Junfeng's control. He quickly stepped forward to control the ball, then easily leaned on the opposing small defender, a rhinoceros half-turned, plus a perfect left foot burst. Boom. This powerful shot was saved by the opposing goalkeeper. Oh, what kind of goalkeeper is this? There are two strokes. The shot just now was really powerful, it was the most dangerous shot of the game. Episode 2. Arsenal reserve team wins corner. The opposing coach was there to remind the players to strictly watch over Lu Junfeng. It is clear that this new player is very threatening. Although this style of play of high school strikers does not match Arsenal's usual tactics, it is really useful when breaking dense defense. Lu Junfeng beckoned to his teammate who served the corner. "Just upload it to my head, and I'll give him a Tarzan top." His header is not good, but the opposing defender is not as tall as he is, so he should be able to score a goal by rubbing his head. The corner kick was sent out and flew towards Lu Junfeng's position. Lu Junfeng got rid of the defender who was pulling him, and jumped high with all his strength. "I'm a Tarzan press." Heck, that Byong goalkeeper actually got stuck in front and punched the ball out. Fortunately, it is Arsenal players who control the ball on the outside. "Give it to me. Give me. Watch me head them to death." "Hey, how are you coming?" A teammate fired a long-range shot that hit the defender. The ball didn't bounce very far and was again controlled by the Arsenal players. Then there were successive passes and shots, and the opposing player kept blocking. The restricted area was in chaos, and people kept falling to the ground. As a result, I didn't expect the ball to bounce back and forth, and it bounced not far from Lu Junfeng's front. Lu Junfeng arrived with a stride, and another half-turned left foot burst. This powerful shot on the opposing goalkeeper simply did not have time to save. Boom. Football should be on the net. Scored. Goal. Arsenal lead West Ham 1-0. Lu Junfeng ran to the corner flag excitedly, beating his chest and roaring. It's a pity that there are not many spectators on the sidelines, and he can't feel the live atmosphere like a mountain roaring tsunami. His teammates also gathered around and congratulated him. The reserve coach on the sidelines was equally pleased. This guy is really good, he changed the situation as soon as he came on the field, and it seems that he can be given more opportunities. The game continues. Time is running out and West Ham's reserves must press up and attack if they don't want to lose. Losing one is the same as losing two, you can't get points, but if you press up and score one, you have a chance to get a point, so they don't have a choice. Under the fierce pressing of the opponent, Arsenal's formation contracted. This gave Lu Junfeng more opportunities to fight back. Seeing that his teammate had snatched the opponent's ball, he immediately beckoned. Brother. Pass one. Give it. A teammate found Lu Junfeng with a long pass. Hey, the ball is coming, look at me for a perfect stop. Oops, stop big, but it's okay, I'm fast, I can remedy it. When Lu Junfeng controlled the ball, the opposing defender had already pasted it. Who knew that Lu Junfeng suddenly turned around with a rhinoceros, went forward, and the human ball was divided, directly forming a single knife. At this point, the West Ham formation pressed too close, resulting in no protection in front of the goalkeeper. Hee, I didn't expect it, Lao Tzu is a speed-type winger. I'm a blaster. Just follow me and eat ashes. The opponent didn't expect Lu Junfeng to drip the ball so fast. Shouldn't this tall, mushy guy be a bulky center? The opposing defender could not catch up after being thrown away, and the opposing goalkeeper was a little hesitant, not knowing whether to attack or stick to the goal line. Lu Junfeng is not a person who is used to children. When you get to the penalty area, you don't care about anything, and you face the goalkeeper with a straight right foot. Boom. The opposing goalkeeper hesitated and failed to save the ball. Enter another one. Goal. It's 2 o'clock in an instant. The victory is set. How about brothers? What do you call giving to have? Lu Junfeng laughed and roared. The coach on the sidelines nodded frequently. This guy, it's kind of interesting, it seems that this situation has to be reported. The first team is now short of a center. Thanks to a double goal from substitute Lu Junfeng, Arsenal reserves beat West Ham United 2-0. After the game, Lu Junfeng was praised by the coaching staff and asked him to continue to train hard, and the next game will give him more opportunities to play. What made him even more excited was that he received a prompt from the system, and the template fit increased by 1%, reaching 45%. What's going on? How did the fit, which hasn't changed for almost 2 years, move? Is it because of Arsenal's feng shui? Or is Arsenal's tactical play suited to the growth of Messi's template? No matter what the reason, since playing here can increase the fit, there is nothing to say, he must brush the fit here to more than 80%. If you change clubs, who knows if it will go up? Lu Junfeng suddenly felt that the future was bright. In order to get more playing opportunities, he decided to stay and practice his center skills. Anyway, he only played for 10 minutes off the bench and was not tired at all. One of his teammates knew he was going to practice and was willing to stay with him. The man's name was Nicholas Llaneras. He is half of Chinese descent, and his mother is an immigrant from southern Guangdong, so he looks very much like a Chinese. He joined the Arsenal Academy at the age of 8 and has captained the Arsenal under-18 team to a championship and was selected for the England under-17, under-18 and under-19 teams. In the world before Lu Junfeng's rebirth, Llaneras changed to Huaxia nationality in the future, was selected for the Huaxia national team, and gave a Huaxia name, called Liku. Because of his Chinese blood, Lu Junfeng just came to Arsenal and had a good relationship with Liku. Liku knew that with his own ability, he could not enter the Arsenal first team at all. He is expected to go to the lower leagues next season to find opportunities to play, and even inquired with Lu Junfeng about the situation of the Chinese domestic football league. It is a pity that Lu Junfeng has come to Europe since he was 12 years old and is not familiar with the domestic situation. Episode 3. Lu Junfeng and Liku soon began to practice with the help of the staff. Liku plays in the midfield position, and Lu Junfeng has to practice heading and back ability, so the training of the two is very simple. Liku is responsible for long passes, and Lu Junfeng practices header shooting or header ferry. Some staff members held mats to imitate defensive players and increased confrontation for Lu Junfeng. They all sighed, this guy is really strong, how can ordinary people bear him? However, after practicing for more than 20 minutes, Lu Junfeng waved his hand to signal Liku to stop and stop practicing headers. Your sisters, this ball smashed into the brain, it hurts so much. I feel that the wisdom in my head has been smashed out, and my brain is full of dizziness. If this is smashed stupid, no matter how good the body is, he can't play the ball. Lao Tzu has always relied on wisdom to kick the ball. Let's practice catching the ball with your back first. In the distance, Arsenal youth team manager Liam Brady watched the training of the two and thought thoughtfully. After finishing the exercise, Lu Junfeng and Li Ko had dinner at the restaurant at the base and said goodbye. Meals in the training base are free, and you don't eat for nothing. Lu Junfeng returned to Arsenal's youth team dormitory. Because Li Ko is a native of London, he does not live in the dormitory. The dormitory is close to Arsenal's famous Kearney training ground, and the accommodation is also good, single rooms, which can be regarded as the club's benefit for young people. However, the vicinity of the hostel is just a small town in Hertfordshire, and there is not much to play. Locals don't even think of it as London. As a newcomer who has just joined the team, Lu Junfeng's main goal is to play more games and has no intention of going out to play, so it is only right to go back to the dormitory early to wash and sleep. Before going to bed at night, Lu Junfeng called his home in Huaxia. Because he is a reborn, he persuaded his parents to make various investments a few years ago. With his understanding of the direction of world economic development, his family's investment has made a lot of profits. Although he is not a top rich man, he can be said to eat and drink well in this life. If he hadn't got the football system and made him want to fulfill his dream of being a football star, he could have been at ease to be a flower who only knows how to eat, drink and have fun. Before Lu Junfeng's parents lived with him in England in case he couldn't take care of himself. When they were 18 years old, they felt that their son already had a strong ability to be independent and autonomous, and the old couple returned to China, because they really couldn't live in Europe. Still, they asked their son to call back often to report on his situation. No way, even if the son has grown into a strong man with a height of 1 meter 9 and a weight of more than 200 pounds, in the eyes of his parents, he is still a child. Who is not a baby of more than 200 pounds? Lu Junfeng's mother was even worried that her son would be ostracized and bullied when he went to Arsenal. Please, who would bully a guy who is 1 meter 9, more than 200 pounds, and doesn't look very good-tempered? Late at night in London, it was already daytime in China. News of a young Chinese player entering the Arsenal youth team spread in several professional football forums. It didn't cause much of a stir though. Over the years, there have been no Huaxia players who have stayed in the ocean, but the strength of the Huaxia men's football team is still steadily declining, and no one can save it. What's more, Lu Junfeng only joined the Arsenal youth team and did not even have a formal contract. Although I heard that he scored in the reserve team, there is no video data, and no one knows what kind of strength he is. Except for some fanatical fans, no one took the news to heart. Since the next day, Lu Junfeng has been treated as a main striker during training. The team also began to conduct tactical drills around him. While Arsenal have always played passes and require good footwork and movement from forwards, there is a big center that can provide a lot of different ways to break the game. What's more, Lu Junfeng's speed is good, and he is very valuable for cultivation. The work under the feet is currently rough, but with professional training, it can be improved. The most important thing is that Arsenal's first team has encountered trouble, and it is likely to promote Lu Junfeng to solve the problem of the team's lack of attack. This off-season, Arsenal's top star General Patrick Van Persie was sold to old rivals Manchester United. Midfielder Alexander Song went to Barca, further weakening the team. Although the team signed Prince Porty Podolski and French big centre Olivier Giroud to fill the vacancy left by Van Persie. There is also technical midfielder Santiago Cazorla. But the run-in of the new squad takes time, and the individual abilities of the two strikers have not reached the point where they can integrate quickly. The Premier League has played 3 rounds at the moment. Arsenal were held to a 0-0 draw at home by Black Cat Sunderland in the first round. They had 70% possession and blasted 23 shots, but only 3 of them were within the frame. In the second round, Arsenal were again held to a 0-0 draw by Stoke City Ceramics. This time possession was reduced to 67%, with 17 shots on goal, but only 2 shots on target. In the third round away to Norwich Canary, Arsenal was stolen by a counterattack in the 19th minute of the first half, and then bombarded the opponent, 14 shots on goal and 5 on target, but failed to score and lost 0-1. In this way, Arsenal shot a total of 54 shots in the first 3 rounds, and did not score a goal. Episode 4. The last time Arsenal didn't score a goal in their opening 3 games was back in 1953. And now they have only 2 points from 3 games and have fallen into the relegation zone. Not to mention the championship and 4th, the problem in front of them is to relegate first. Manager Arsene Wenger has never experienced such a lackluster start in attack. He was a godfather-like presence at Arsenal, nicknamed the Professor. It was his arrival that transformed Arsenal from a 1 o'clock utilitarian football to a representative of beautiful football, offensive football, and led the team to win 3 league titles, which can be said to be the core figure of Arsenal's revival. How could his team not score in 3 consecutive games? However, in recent years, due to the departure of the main stars one after another, the team has no ability to compete for the championship, hovering in the 3rd and 4th places every season, and once won the title of 4 Crazy Devils. This season has been even more outrageous. The potential stars who have been cultivated before have almost gone away, and the team's record has been in shambles, making it sound outside to let Wenger out of class. Perhaps this stubborn old man of France could not keep up with the times, and it was time for him to leave. So when youth team manager Brady put Lu Junfeng's scouting report and game video on Wenger's desk, Wenger had to take a hard look. September 15, 2012, sunny. Arsenal reserve faced the challenge of Southampton reserve at home to Kearney training base. There were a little more spectators on the sidelines of this game than in the past. Among them are several members of the first-team coaching staff. They are coming to examine the performance of the young people in the team, especially Lu Junfeng. According to Wenger's instructions, Lu Junfeng was arranged to play as the starting center in this game. Li Kuo is a starting midfielder and focuses on defense. Arsenal's reserve team also has 2 future famous players in the starting lineup, right winger Dog Ignore Gnabry and right back Bellerin. Gnabry was dark and strong, thick and earthy. Bellerin is white and clean, more fashionable. In parallel worlds, Gnabry did not get many opportunities at Arsenal for various reasons. He then moved to Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich and progressed up to become a top winger, winning 4 league titles and 1 European Cup with Bayern. In addition, he became the main right winger of the German national team, and his career can be said to be close to perfect. Bellerin was much inferior to Gnabry, but a few years later he was Arsenal's main right back, and his speed before the big injury attracted the attention of many giants. He was also selected for the Hispania national team, but did not play much. Today's Arsenal reserve formation is 42-31, Lu Junfeng single arrow. With the referee's whistle and a classic back-foot kickoff, Lu Junfeng began today's performance. Arsenal's reserve players were instructed before the game, and the game was all about Lu Junfeng, which made others envious. Everyone knows that this is the focus of the team to develop him. But most of the players are convinced, because this guy is so physically strong that he can compete with a top center forward. In this world, he is 1 meter 9 meters tall, weighs more than 200 pounds and can run fast, but there are not many. Back on the field. After the Arsenal midfielder controlled the ball, he passed it to the back and put his foot down, luring the opposing player out and forcing the opposing formation to pull apart. At this time, Lu Junfeng had already stuck his position in the front, beckoning for the ball. Although the opposing defender is also 1 meter 85 meters tall, his strength is incomparable with Lu Junfeng, who is more than 200 pounds. However, he is not very worried, because a player of Lu Junfeng's size will not be fast, and even if he receives the ball, he will only divide the side and make the ball for his teammates. Li Kuo passed a low flat ball at this time. Lu Junfeng stopped a little loudly, hurriedly took a few steps forward, and continued to control the ball. The opposing defender is more at ease now. This kind of rough brother, I don't know how Arsenal will accept it. Are they going to change their style? But just as he sneered secretly, Lu Junfeng had already turned around, kicked the ball forward, and then the whole person rushed over like a storm. That's exactly his unique skill, speed up the explosion. I wipe. How did this big bear-like guy run so fast? The guard's heart tightened, and he quickly turned around to chase back. At this time, Lu Junfeng was happily accelerating and rushing with the ball. Enter my strong point at the beginning and force a breakthrough in the middle. Who can catch up with me at my speed? Let's see what an impact striker is today. Reserve games are all about giving young players long experience. Or find form for first-team players who often miss games and players who have returned from injury. Although this game is very formal, it will not be like the first-team game, which specifically analyzes the situation of the opposing players before the game. And there is not much intelligence information about Lu Junfeng from the outside world, and not many people know that this big man is also good. So as soon as the opening game, Southampton was rushed out by Lu Junfeng. Facing the opponent's attacking goalkeeper, Lu Junfeng had thought, do I hit with my left foot or my right foot? Forget it, regardless of 3-7-21, Meng will talk about it with a kick. Boom. A powerful right-footed volley and the ball goes straight under the goalkeeper through the crotch. Goal. Scored. Less than a minute into the opening game, Arsenal were already leading 1-0. Lu Junfeng calmly shook his finger this time. Cut melons and cut vegetables, brothers. Episode 5. The members of the sideline coaching staff all looked surprised. Is this kid so powerful? It's a complete dimensionality reduction blow. Okay, you have to write it down quickly. Southampton's side was dumbfounded. Where did this guy come out? It's so strong. Their coach quickly instructed the players on the field to pay attention to the supervision of Lu Junfeng. Do not give him the opportunity to sprint easily, and be ready to assist in defense at any time. The game continued quickly. Trailing Southampton players stepped up their pressing, trying to form an offensive run to pull back the scoreline. However, their technology is a little rough. Soon, Li Ke broke the ball in midfield. Beautiful. Li Ke. I'm single cut, give it quickly, Lu Junfeng shouted while turning and cutting forward. The central defender who was staring at him turned around not as fast as he was, and he was stuck behind. Li Ke understood that a straight ball penetrated the Southampton defense to the front. At this point, the opposing side has a defender dragged behind, so there is no offside. Lu Junfeng instantly got a half-single knife opportunity. However, the other central defender on the other side was not far from him and had quickly defended from the left side. It was difficult for Lu Junfeng to continue to bring forward, so he could only get up his right foot to burst. The ball was saved by the opposing goalkeeper. Arsenal win a corner. The members of the courtside coaching staff said with regret, "This ball has a higher success rate if you push it in an arc with your left foot. A buckle with the right foot will do, and if you pass the defender, you will have a better chance of scoring." What if he doesn't? One person's question silences everyone else. It seems that from all aspects, Lu Junfeng's technique is not delicate enough, and his shooting basically relies on explosive pumping, and there is no way to do it if he is not hit. However, his impact is indeed lacking in the first team. On the field, Lu Junfeng wasted a half-single knife, a little embarrassed, and busily gave Li Ke a thumbs up and gave him a thumbs up. Arsenal's side Gnabry sent a corner kick, still towards Lu Junfeng's head. However, the opponent was obviously defensive, and the two central defenders caught Lu Junfeng back and forth to clear the ball early. Outside it was still Arsenal players who controlled the ball and played around Southampton. Lu Junfeng saw that he was surrounded by layers in the penalty area, and it was difficult to receive passes from his teammates, so he simply ran out of the box and came to the right wing. The opposing centre-backs did not follow out, they had to stick to the box. Lu Junfeng pulled back to get the ball, signaled his teammates to change positions, and then he suddenly turned around and exploded, past the opposing full-back, and crossed by himself. Since he was a child, he has played as a winger. A winger of more than 1.9 meters or 200 pounds, just ask if you are afraid. It's a pity that the tackle shot of Lu Gnabry was confiscated by the opposing goalkeeper. Hey, this goal, if there is a strong center in the middle, won't it score? Oh, wait, like I'm the powerhouse, Lu Junfeng said with regret. Members of the coaching staff on the sidelines were also full of discussions. This Lu Junfeng pulled to the side, didn't he waste his height and weight advantage in vain? What's the use of playing like this? Isn't it to use his ability to tackle tough problems in the middle? The game continues. The Southampton goalkeeper drove a big foot into the front. But the ball was quickly snatched by the Arsenal players. Lu Junfeng beckoned loudly again, quick pass. I'm stuck in my position. The opposing defender did not dare to raise it this time, and pulled and dragged against Lu Junfeng, not letting him receive the ball comfortably. Lu Junfeng secretly exerted his strength, knocked him over, and then called his teammates, quick pass. My side is empty, toot. The referee blew the whistle, awarded Lu Junfeng a foul, and Southampton won the ball. Is that a foul? Hasn't England football always been this kind of strong confrontation? I didn't push him on purpose, Lu Junfeng was dissatisfied. But now there is no VAR, so the referee will not look back at the video and change the sentence. Once again, members of the courtside coaching staff began to discuss. It seems that Lu Junfeng is a little reckless, but his confrontation ability is indeed a trickle. As long as you have the right balance, this ability is very useful. Didn't Chelsea rely on Warcraft Drogba to bully the defenders of the Premier League teams so much? They Arsenal are also victims. The game started again, and the leading Arsenal did not continue to play around Southampton, but deliberately contracted the defense to lure the opponent out. However, the Southampton players were very afraid of Lu Junfeng's impact, and two defenders always paid attention to him and did not give him the opportunity to easily receive the ball. Every time Lu Junfeng caught the ball, someone immediately went up to grab it, preventing him from breaking through with the ball, which made Lu Junfeng a little depressed. Now his technique can't stop and break the bag of the two. In the 30s, the Arsenal players found another opportunity to break the ball in midfield. Arsenal's front court players quickly organized a counterattack. Lu Junfeng quickly ran to the right and shouted at the same time, "I'm pulling the edge, give it quickly. Pretty. Fight back, isn't this coming?" I stopped the ball a lot, stopped it well, and gave myself a thumbs up in my heart. The opposing fullback came over to grab the ball and was squeezed away by Lu Junfeng. "You give me a side. I am more than 200 pounds, which is stronger than you. I'm a blaster, just faster than you. Neighboury, go to the door and grab something." I crossed with a reverse foot, drifted. I rub. "You don't even enter the empty door? It's sad." I hit the wing with more than 200 pounds, and I passed you an empty goal with a right-footed cross. Just this Byung ball, I can blindfold it with my eyes closed. You look like a real thing, and you have a push. You have to practice more. Episode 6. Neighboury was also embarrassed and raised his hand to signal. I'm sorry, fat, next time I learn from you, I can get a kick." "Who do you say is fat?" "You're a big head. You and Bellerin are both big heads." Lu Junfeng immediately fought back. Bellerin looked confused. "Why is this still pulling on me?" The courtside coach instructed at this time. "Lu, don't go to the side, just stay in the middle. Your sister. And don't let me play the side." But there is no way. Lu Junfeng still wants to stay at Arsenal and can only follow the coach's instructions. In the final moments of the first half, Arsenal attacked again. Lu Junfeng quickly cut forward to the middle road. "Bay data fast pass, I'm in the middle. Pretty. I have a head. Your sisters didn't hold it. I didn't even stand up to your cross with a height of 1.9 meters. You said how outrageous this ball passed. Forget it, you can't always scold your teammates." Lu Junfeng extended his thumb again and gave Bellerin a thumbs up. At halftime, the score was fixed at 1-0, and Arsenal sneaked one up on the opening game. In the dressing room, the coach instructed Lu Junfeng while drawing the tactical board. "You have to be flexible in your movements, don't always stick in one place, so it's easy for the other person to defend you. Run more and make the other person unpredictable. In addition, in the second half you are mainly responsible for feints and making balls for teammates in midfield." "I feint? I'm more than 1.9 meters 200 pounds, you let me feint?" Lu Junfeng shouted excitedly. "How? Have an opinion?" The coach looked up at him. No, feints are good. Unknown players are just holding back, and the coach can only do what he wants. Who doesn't come over like that?" After the start of the second half, Arsenal were not satisfied with the 1-0 score and continued to actively control the rhythm on the field. Lu Junfeng leaned on the opposing defender in the middle, and after receiving a pass from his teammate, someone from the other side immediately came to assist in the defense. This time, Lu Junfeng did not force a rhinoceros to turn around and add a blast, but distributed it to his teammates on the right side. Then he immediately reflexively inserted himself into the restricted area, shouting, "Bay Dato, look at me, I ran out of the opportunity. Quick pass. Will it kick football? Inverted triangle, such a good opportunity you don't pass. I wiped in. Don't say, this ball is beautiful." On the field, because of Lu Junfeng's involvement in the penalty area, there was a gap on the right side of the big penalty area, and then Bellerin passed back to Neighboury, and Neighboury scored with a beautiful long-range shot. Arsenal 2:00 Southampton. The teammates all gathered around the corner flag to celebrate. "I have my credit for this ball, right? It was up to me to take the defenders away," Lu Junfeng said proudly. "Yes, count you a quarter of an assist," Neighboury said angrily. You can't score a ball without difficulty, you have to come like this." The lads laughed and played, and the game continued. Falling behind by 2 goals made the Southampton players increasingly impatient. The Arsenal players, on the other hand, are calm and play according to the coach's instructions. After a long pass from an Arsenal player failed to give Lu Junfeng, the Southampton player, who controlled the ball, immediately pushed forward. But they soon made a mistake and the Arsenal players snatched the ball again. Neighboury receives the ball and hits a long pass behind him. Lu Junfeng understood in his heart, turned around and accelerated, and instantly threw off the opposing defender. Beautiful, the opportunity is coming again. Oops, stop big, but it's okay, I'll adjust it. Hey, how the defensive players came over. It's okay, watch me pretend to shoot, come to a stop pop. Haha, pass one. Your sister, why is there another one? It's okay, I'll fake a shot pop again. Your sister, there are more and more people. I've got a kick. On the field, Lu Junfeng pretended to shoot with his right foot twice in a row, actually smashed the ball, and passed two players who rushed over to make up for the defense. Although his movements were a little awkward, the opposing defenders were inexperienced, but they were still fooled, and slipped one by one in order to block his shots. Seeing that there were more and more defensive players, Lu Junfeng simply threw a burst with his left foot. Boom. The distance is too close, the ball is too fast, and the goalkeeper can't save it. Goal. Arsenal scored another goal in the second half to take a 3-0 lead. Roar. How about a big head? My ball is prettier than yours, right? Tricked the opponent's entire backline. Random flowers gradually want to charm the eyes, and you are not ashamed to be teased by my Junfeng. What is a top striker? While the boys were celebrating, members of the courtside coaching staff began to write and draw in their notebooks again. This Lu Junfeng is a weapon to fight back. Although the small technique is a little rough, there is speed, body, and a burst, which is definitely enough against the average team. The 3-goal lead made it a lot easier for Arsenal's reserve players. Next, just stabilize the defense and fight back. Lu Junfeng followed the coach's instructions at this time, stayed in the front court and waited for his teammates to pass the ball, and then found a way to control the ball and give it to his teammates to rush in. The coaching staff wanted him to be that fulcrum striker. One defender on the other side can't carry him at all, and often two people have to defend him. This confrontational ability made the coach of Southampton's reserve shake his head and sigh. Is this 19 years old? Where did Arsenal poach such a monster? Are they really going to change their style and follow Chelsea's physical flow? The members of the coaching staff on the Arsenal side are often shining. This may be the answer for Arsenal's strikers. Episode 7. In the 68th minute, Lu Junfeng once again received a long pass from his teammate, chose to control the ball, and then distributed it to Gnabry, who received it on the right wing. Then he quickly turned around, ripped off the opposing defender and rushed frantically into the box. Over there, Gnabry dribbled through the bottom line and a high cross. The football flew towards Lu Junfeng's head like an eye. Lu Junfeng threw off the opposing guard, jumped high, and a lion shook his head. Boom. The fast-flying football was hit by Lu Junfeng's head, changed direction and burrowed heavily into the net. The opposing goalkeeper can only look at the ball and sigh. Goal. Arsenal scored another goal to take a 4-0 lead. Lu Junfeng scored a hat-trick. After scoring the goal, he pointed to his head while running towards the corner and said excitedly, "How? What do you think? Lao Tzu's head hammer is powerful, right? In the future, upload it to my head and see how I smash the ball into it one by one," Bellerin said at this time. The goal is mainly that Gnabry passes well, as long as it touches the ball, it will definitely score. Liku also said, yes, this ball is mainly a good pass, and a stake in the middle can be scored. Others echoed. Your sisters. You are jealous. There was a cheerful atmosphere on the field. Southampton almost collapsed. This game is hopeless, it is better to change the substitute to increase the experience. Arsenal, on the other hand, is fighting more and more courageously. In the 75th minute, Lu Junfeng knocked over the opposing defender again. This time the referee did not blow the whistle. No fouls. Li Ke seized the opportunity and a straight ball penetrated the opponent's defense. Lu Junfeng easily obtained a single knife. The Southampton coach on the sidelines was so angry that he cursed. But that doesn't affect the situation on the field. Lu Junfeng took the ball all the way to the big penalty area, saw that the opposing goalkeeper had already attacked, simply went to the right, another explosion, past the goalkeeper, and rushed to the bottom line before the ball was a right foot burst. The ball cuts a slightly curved arc and hits the bottom left corner of the goal. Goal. Arsenal scored another goal to take a 5-0 lead. Lu Junfeng started his first game in the Arsenal reserve team and scored 4 goals. Happy seniors. His play in reserve is simply a dimensionality reduction blow. Left foot, right foot, header. He can score goals in any way. Southampton didn't bother to complain to the referee that Lu Junfeng had hit a foul before scoring a goal, which could not affect the result of the game. The coach of the Arsenal reserve team nodded frequently on the sidelines, and then chose to make a substitution, replacing Lu Junfeng. When Lu Junfeng heard that he was going to replace him, he still couldn't believe it. Why change me? I haven't kicked enough, but we've seen enough. The coach's order cannot be refused. Lu Junfeng could only care about the end of Shan. He loves playing so much and it feels really good to bully a young defender. Now he can only sit on the sidelines and watch his teammates continue to ravage their opponents. In the end, the match ended with Arsenal reserve beating Southampton reserve 6-0. Lu Junfeng, who was alone in the fourth element, was naturally the first hero of the victory. In the dressing room, the lads of the reserve team danced and sang to celebrate the big victory. It's always nice to win. Life must be proud, do not make the golden bottle empty against the moon. What makes Lu Junfeng even more excited is that his Messi template fit has increased by another point, reaching 46%. Although the effect of a point increase is not obvious, it can accumulate into a lot, and quantitative changes will cause qualitative changes. If you continue to kick like this, you must not rise by 20 or 30 points a year. Then his technique will get better and better. A Messi who is 1 meter 9 meters tall and weighs more than 200 pounds, just ask if you are afraid. Excited, he announced loudly on the spot. Today I have a treat, let's go eat barbecue, unlimited quantities. Wow. Lu. You are really my idol, awesome. Lu. You're a big hero, what young guy doesn't like grilled meat? There's nothing a roast that can't be solved. If there is, then 2 meals. Now they may not believe that Bellerin will become a vegetarian in the future. Footballers don't eat meat, that's no joke. There is no meat to eat, where does the strength to kick the ball? After taking a shower in the dressing room, a team of spirited guys left the training base and went straight to the barbecue restaurant. The youth team coach did not stop their celebration, but only reminded them that they must not drink alcohol and make trouble. Having time to engage in team building is helpful to the overall morale of the team. It seems that Lu Junfeng still has a bit of a leadership temperament. The Arsenal reserve players soon arrived at Old John's Rotisserie, not far from the base. It's a barbecue restaurant, but it's actually more like a bar. In the lobby on the first floor of the store, there is a large screen that is used to project various competitions. And football is their favorite. Customers who come to the store like to watch a ball game while eating barbecue and drinking beer. There is no way in the town, there are relatively few entertainment venues, and there are only a few that come and go. The shop staff are familiar with most of the Arsenal youth players. At least in North London, Arsenal fans make up a large percentage. Local die-hard fans don't just follow Arsenal's first team, but also the youth team. Arsenal's arch-rivals Tottenham Hotspur also have a lot of influence in North London, but they are orders of magnitude worse than Arsenal. However, Lu Junfeng is the first time they have seen this player. Seeing that Lu Junfeng was tall and strong, they thought it was the team's newly introduced central defender. Even central defenders rarely have this size, how slow is this turn? The aircraft carrier turned around, huh? Episode 8. Soon the staff prepared 2 large long tables for the Arsenal players, arranged in the corners. After the young men sat down, they did not be polite to Lu Junfeng, and ordered a lot of all kinds of barbecue meat. They can't drink alcohol, and they rarely drink carbonated drinks, so they order a lot of freshly squeezed juice. They watched the game live as they ate a barbecue as the 4th round of the Premier League kicks in tonight and Arsenal host Swansea. Most of the people watching the game were Arsenal fans, but there were also 1 or 2 tables where the guests were Tottenham fans. Arsenal fans are criticizing all aspects of the team with hatred, from the management and coaching staff to the players in the first team. No way, who made the team start to the worst league in history? And there is too much loss of core in the team, making people see no hope. Fortunately, no one scolded the youth team, because the current predicament of the team has nothing to do with them. Tottenham fans are indispensable for the yin and yang weirdness to laugh at it. If it weren't for the fact that the store was basically full of old acquaintances, the 2 sets of fans would have to fight. The starting lists of both sides were officially released soon. Arsenal's goalkeeper will be Szczesny, CCCNI, or 3C. Right back Jen Million Jenkinson. Left back Keppel Gibbs. Central defender Grandpa Mertzak and Potion Vermaelen, current captain. Midfielders Hard Forest Coughlin, Tazigo Arteta, Card Fat Casola. Strikers Wave Plain Podolski, Little Tiger Walcott, Hot Bird Gervinho. The formation is 433, reinforced offensive type. Arsenal's back line has basically not changed much this season, and the personnel mix is relatively fixed, because there are many injuries, and there are only a few who can play. In midfield, Arteta and Cazorla are trusted. However, both are technical midfielders who need to be paired with a coolie, and only Coquelin can use them in the team for the time being. As for the striker, it was the biggest headache for Wenger. After Van Persie, there is really no one to replace him. He has experimented with a lot of personnel combinations in the first few games. Big center Olivier Giroud, goalkeeper Podolski, and passing mania Vinho have all been pushed into the starting center-forward position, but none of them have been satisfactory. Otherwise, it would not have been possible to score a goal in 3 games. Today he opted to have Giroud on the bench and start with 3 speed strikers. This lineup arrangement has also attracted criticism from fans in the barbecue restaurant, who believe that playing a weak team at home should still go to Giroud to attack. No way, when the grades are poor, everything is wrong. You must know that although Giroud is tall, his heading ability is very average when he first came to Arsenal, and it is not easy to count on him to attack. The future Olivier Giroud is nicknamed the Pinball King by fans because he always likes to bounce the ball directly to his teammates. Although occasionally there will be a stroke of genius, and teammates will cooperate with a 5 best goal, a top 10, or even the most beautiful goal, but more often it is a direct mistake. However, he is an evergreen type player, and the older he gets, the more he becomes more useful. Will be an excellent fulcrum striker in the future. Swansea's starting lineup is Trimel, Zico, Williams, Ben Davies, Ranger, Brinton, Zikinjiang, Dyer, De Guzman, Michu, and Schickert. Although always considered a weak team, Swansea have won consecutive victories over Queen's Park Rangers, West Ham United and Wigan Athletic in the first 3 rounds, and are currently only behind Chelsea on goal difference and second in the Premier League. Arsenal, on the contrary, points are more like a relegation team. So fans who think Arsenal should wash away the shame of the first 3 rounds with a big win may be a bit too much. After the start of the game, Arsenal still had the advantage. However, as in the previous 3 rounds, due to the lack of tacit understanding between teammates, there were frequent mistakes in passing in the front court. The players up front do not have enough personal ability to tear the opposing defense and break through the opponent's goal. And Swansea's 3 consecutive wins in the first 3 rounds really did not come for nothing. They fought back very well. This makes Arsenal players dare not be too aggressive, and must ensure that there is enough defensive force at the back. As the game progressed, the score remained fixed at 0-0. Arsenal fans are out of rage. Is it so hard to score a goal? This was not the case with Arsenal before. It's all Wenger's fault. He has problems with player trades and formations. His ideas are already behind this era. Although some sane fans believe that the team run-in is not enough and needs to be given more time, they dare not speak out in the face of the outrage of most people. By the 65th minute, the bow and hot birds were replaced by Giroud and Chamberlain. But the situation has not improved. Instead, in the 88th minute, the rear of the heavily pressed Arsenal team was empty, and the opponent kicked straight through the defense. Michu successfully reversed the offside, dribbled all the way to the front, and a low shot pierced through the gate guarded by Szczesny. 0:1. Arsenal are behind at home. Time is running out. Episode 9. The Arsenal fans at the scene were already stunned, and only the away fans were left in the stadium with a capacity of 60,000 people. Inside the Old John's barbecue restaurant, I don't know who shouted, "Wenger out, class." Then people kept chiming in, and finally the audience shouted in unison, "Wenger out. Wenger out. Wenger out." The lads in the reserve were worried. The first team won't go without the Champions League next season, right? Even the Europa League is gone. Wouldn't downgrade, would it? It's not just the first team, the whole club will suffer. Arsenal have not been relegated in almost 100 years, and if it falls on them, it will be a lifetime of shame. Lu Junfeng was still very calm. In his impression, Arsene Wenger's late coaching Arsenal really struggled, such as being played 8-2 by Manchester United last season. But every year in the second half of the league, they can start the crazy point grab mode and finally finish in the top 4. This is also the origin of the title of fighting for the 4 Mad Devils. But Arsenal should not be so miserable, only 2 points in 4 rounds? He doesn't remember this? Could it be that his presence affected the world line? Butterfly effect? While thinking over there, the game went into stoppage time. Arsenal had all the players on the pitch to score an equalizer. Even when winning a corner, goalkeeper Szczesny came to the opposing penalty area, hoping to use his height advantage to smash a header into it. It's a pity that this corner kick was destroyed by the opponent, and Arsenal have no goalkeeper at the back at the moment. Szczesny tried to run back, but Swansea's Mishu had already received the ball in midfield and it was a powerful volley against an empty goal. Many Arsenal fans have covered their eyes and are afraid to look at the result. However, nothing can stop the football from flying through the unguarded gate. 0:2. Mishu scored twice to send Arsenal to 2 consecutive defeats. They only scored 2 points in 4 rounds. And Swansea have won all 4 games and accumulated 12 points to reach the top of the Premier League. Arsenal fans inside the rotisserie were all devastated. They simply could not accept this result. Tottenham fans gloated there. Wow, Arsenal won't play in the Champions League next season. But you can watch Tottenham play the Champions League. Oh no, maybe next season's Arsenal won't even have to play in the Premier League, you can only go to the Championship, haha. The remarks completely angered Arsenal fans. But it was Saul Green, the son of Dr. Green, who was respected in town, who spoke, so everyone suppressed their anger and did not beat him. Only suddenly, Saul Green felt a darkness in front of him. A huge body stood in front of him. Then he was lifted up by the big man by the collar. It was Lu Junfeng who picked him up. Lu Junfeng didn't know any Dr. Green, he only knew that this kid's mouth was smelly. The teammates were frightened and hurried up to persuade. If you hurt someone, it is illegal, and Lu Junfeng's career future will be over. The Tottenham fans at the table with Saul Green would have wanted to step forward and help. But seeing Lu Junfeng, who was 1 meter 9 or more than 200 caddies and fierce and vicious, they only dared to hide on the side and scold. Saul Green was frightened, his legs soared into the air and he struggled desperately, shouting in a bluff, "What are you doing? You put me down." Lu Junfeng pinched his neck and said viciously, "Remember Lao Tzu's face? I'll be Arsenal's starter and put your shit under Tottenham forever." The farce in the barbecue restaurant was finally not big under the mediation of old John. Lu Junfeng, who returned to the dormitory, lay on the bed, thinking about the future of himself and the club. Does Arsenal still have a chance to come back to life? When will it bottom out? Is it possible to increase the template fit as long as you can play in the reserve team? While he was thinking, he received a call from the reserve coach Banfield. It won't be the smelly Tottenham fan who sued him, right? However, Banfield on the other end of the phone did not come to scold him, but brought him good news. Tomorrow he is going to the first team training. Banfield encouraged him to perform well and maybe use this as an opportunity to play in the first team. Now the first team is worried about the lack of attacking power. This news made Lu Junfeng overjoyed. Playing a reserve team game adds 1 percentage point. If you play in the first team, how much do you have to add? Isn't that taking off? It was only when he was thinking happily that he received a text message from Li Ku. It turns out that Li Ku will also go to the first team training tomorrow. And not only the two of them, many people in the youth team were pulled over by the first team. Matches such as the Champions League group stage and the League Cup are about to start, and the first team schedule is very intense. At this time, the first team suffered a wave of injuries and a serious shortage of personnel. So they are young players who have a good chance to play. Lu Junfeng, who learned the truth, was still very satisfied. Although it is not the only cultivation target, the opportunity to appear is real. This kind of opportunity to become famous in the first battle, he can't miss it. Episode 10. Early the next morning, Lu Junfeng came to the training base to warm up. He wants to make a good impression on the coaches who are diligent and hardworking. As long as he is given the opportunity to play, he will surely shock the world. When the players were almost ready, reserve coach Banfield came over and took the named players to the training ground of the first team. In addition to Lu Junfeng and Li Ku, this group of players also includes Gnabry, Bellerin, Isfeld, midfielder, McQuire, defender, and so on. The rest could only look at them enviously, and then continued to stay and train, hoping that they would be the next batch. The competition in the professional league is very brutal, and it is already very good that 1 or 2 youth teams of the same age group can establish themselves in Arsenal's first team. Others can either go to small clubs, lower leagues to continue their careers, or finally leave football and start a new life. Fate also plays an important role in this. There are a lot of star players who almost went down other paths when they were younger. For example, Vardy, the star striker who will play the Leicester City Miracle in the future, was still in the 8th tier of England at the age of 18, with a weekly salary of only £30. In order not to starve to death, he had to do odd jobs in a medical device factory. Van Dijk, who will be known as the world's #1 central defender in the future, could only go to the restaurant outside to wash dishes in order to fill his stomach at the age of 18, resulting in frequent misses from training and being eliminated by training camp. If it weren't for Boele's insight, Van Dijk would probably be a professional dishwasher now. Even the vast majority of geniuses who joined Arsenal's youth academy as adults remain unknown. Being able to play in a professional league is considered a successful football career. Banfield handed over the reserve players to Boulder, currently Arsenal's chief assistant coach. Boulder was a stocky bald man who looked more serious. He just became a principal assistant this season. Wenger's original assistant coach was Pat Rice, known to Arsenal fans as Uncle Rice. However, on the one hand, Les is older and lacks energy. On the other hand, the core of the team that has been carefully cultivated in recent years has all left the team and is not lightly angry, can no longer be qualified for the job of assistant coach, and is now in charge of scouting tasks. Head coach Arsene Wenger was not on the training ground today. The new season is 4 league games without a win and no goal has put him under great pressure. Some avid Arsenal fans outside can't stand the outcome and have already made a fuss several times outside the training ground and outside the Emirates Stadium. There was even a banner outside the base that read "Wenger leaves class." I heard that some radical fans plan to demonstrate by pulling up banners with planes at home games, asking the club to make changes quickly. Arsenal also got off to a bad start last season. They went 3 rounds without a win and lost humiliatingly 2-8 at home at Manchester United. Fortunately, this fiasco made the club think bitterly and buy people like crazy before the transfer deadline. Among them, Arteta and Mertesacker have become the backbone of the team. Coupled with Van Persie's outbreak, Arsenal finally won the 3rd place in the league and successfully entered the Champions League in the new season. And the first 4 rounds of this season are worse than last season, so what should the club do? Either fire the head coach or throw money at star players. If you don't do anything, this season will be the beginning of Arsenal's sinking. It's just a pity that fans don't want to accept the fact that Arsenal has very little attraction to star players. How attractive can a team that can't sell captains at every turn and lose its core have? When Wenger has other matters to attend to, Boulder is in charge of leading the team in training. He asked the young players who had joined the first team to briefly introduce themselves and put them into the team for various warm-up exercises together. The atmosphere on the training ground was very depressing, and the players were all smiling. It was like attending a funeral. If you can still train with a smile without a win in 4 games, then Arsenal are the real relegation team. Unlike reserve training, the training of individual skills in first-team training is much reduced. What they practice the most is a kick and all kinds of small combinations, as if they were playing a game. This is in line with Arsenal's usual style. However, Lu Junfeng made more mistakes. His current technique under his feet is indeed average. He is also the person most watched by the coaching staff and teammates. Most first-team players have also heard that the reserve team has a ruthless man who can score 4 goals in a single game. Scoring 4 goals in a single game in the reserve league probably doesn't say much. But 1'9", more than 200 pounds, a center with good speed and flexibility, it is relatively rare. To promote this guy to the first team, it is obvious that the coaching staff wants to dig inside and find a big general who can attack the city. After that, the teams played in groups. This is the moment when Lu Junfeng shows his talent. Arsenal players quickly discovered that no one could resist Lu Junfeng one-on-one. Those who are taller than him are not as fast as him, those who are faster than him are not as strong as him, and those who are stronger than him, then there is no one at all. Although Arsenal's central defender Mertesacker is 198 centimeters tall, he weighs only about 180 pounds, and he still can't fight Lu Junfeng in terms of strength. The one-on-one offensive and defensive drill between the two was very interesting, and was jokingly called rhinoceros turn and aircraft carrier turn by teammates.